Yes, my people, hello and welcome back to the Chasing Hyrox Valencia series, where today we're touching episode number 10. I can't believe how quick these weeks are flying by. It feels like yesterday I started training for Hyrox Valencia. But here, this morning, I'm gearing up for the day with my beloved Kefir Bowl. I've got a training session later this evening. It's going to be a Hyrox capacity session. It's been a whole week since the last time I did a capacity session after I blew up last week. So if you haven't checked out last week's episode, be sure to do so, because I've been managing my load, my volume and my intensity since I blew up and burned out and crashed out of the session last week. So if you want to see me suffer, that's the place to go do it. But here today, I'm going to be running you through 5 top tips that I use whilst training for Hyrox from a nutrition perspective. And I'm starting here this morning with tip number 1, which is this: the Kefir Bowl, or more broadly speaking, something that looks after your gut health. 70% of our immune system resides in the gut. So I always say, if we can look after our gut, it will reduce our inflammation, protect our immunity, and look after us. So every morning, I'll have a bowl full of kefir yogurt and loads of berries, nuts, seeds to top it off, to get my prebiotics in and my probiotics. Now, I've done extensive videos talking about exactly why looking after your gut is so important. So if you want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But tip number 1 for the day is to look after your gut. I'm doing this here with the Kefir Bowl. I'm going to give you a little taste test whilst you're there on camera. In this one today, so good. This one today, satsuma, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, oats, honey, cinnamon, peanut butter. We're talking some serious toppings in this Kefir Bowl. But that's the secret. That's my tip number 1 for the day. I've got a bit of work to do this morning before we get cracking on with this afternoon session. I'll show you what I eat before the session, so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for tip number 2 coming real soon. It's good to be back after last week with a vengeance. Yeah. Okay, boom, made it to the gym, just rocked up. I had a very productive morning of client check-ins, client calls, some very happy clients, which always puts a smile on my face, and some very interesting business calls as well. Some, exciting things potentially lined up for the future. So, can't help but wipe this smile off my face this morning. It's been a good start to the day. And this leads me on nicely to tip number 2, which is liquid carbohydrates. Now, in this trusty little bottle that I've got here is 50 grams of carbohydrates endurance fuel from Applied Nutrition. You can use the code SAMGN at checkout to get yourself a cheeky little 10% discount. But liquid carbs are going to be an absolute godsend for you if you're training for Hyrox or for any sort of endurance event. We're aiming for, or at least me personally at the moment, I'm aiming for 4 to 5 grams per kilogram of my body weight per day of carbohydrates. That looks like 300 to 375 grams per day of carbohydrates. And in here, I'm getting a hit of 50 grams without even really, noticing it. So liquid carbs are a big one. I've noticed a huge difference since fueling up with carbs, and the electrolyte profile in here as well before my training sessions. It really does make a difference. I find with liquid carbs as well, they don't bloat you out so much. So I also had a banana before I came here. So all in all, probably somewhere around 75 grams of carbs, as there's about 25 grams per average, per your average banana. So 75 grams before this session, which is going to be an AMRAP or 2 AMRAPs I'm going to go for, I think. I designed this session earlier. I'm designing my sessions very much on the fly at the moment, just because of what happened last week with the touch of burnout and the fatigue that came on. I'm trying to manage things as I go and adjust accordingly. But it's all going to be zone 4, or, you know, no higher than 170 to 175 beats per minute for me. Just to try and, again, manage that intensity and manage that volume. I suspect it to take around 10 to 15 minutes per AMRAP to get into that heart rate zone, and then try to manage it and hold it there. But the first one is going to simply be, after a nice long warm-up, a 1 kilometer run. Then I'm going to do 25 meters of sled push at pro weight. Then I'm going to do 500 meters of skiing. Then I'm going to do 100 meters of farmer's carry, again at pro weight, for 30 minutes, as many rounds as possible. Little 2-minute rest in between. 1 kilometer run, 20 meters of sled pull at pro weight, 500 meter row. Then I'll probably do, let's go for 40 meters of walking sandbag lunges, again at pro weight. So that is going to be today's session. I might even consider dropping the pro weights to open weights just for this session, again, just to manage my load and intensity there. I might even finish with a cheeky 100 wall ball for time. So we'll see how I'm feeling, managing things on the fly, as I've just mentioned. But yeah, little tip number 2 to take away from this little clip here is get yourself some liquid carbs. Makes it easy to hit your carb goals and ensure that you're showing up as your best self for training, performing at your best. Get your carbs in. Let's go do this session. See you inside in a bit. Right, okay. So, it's warm up done. Just a few mobility stretches. Bit of cardiovascular work as well. Now it's time for real work. First 30-minute AMRAP. Let's go. Holy shit, that's one AMRAP done, 30 minutes done. Feel pretty good, pretty strong, which is a good sign compared to last week. It shows that I've done the right thing, managing my volume, managing my intensity. But now's a perfect time for Hyrox tip number 3. Hyrox nutrition tip number 3. That's practice your fueling strategy in training. I brought 2 bottles with me, one for before, one for during. Again, another 50 grams of carbs in here. Also have some caffeine, some beta-alanine, some creatine, some electrolytes. Practicing my race day fueling strategy in training. That's tip number 3. Got a quick few minute break, set up the next AMRAP, and then we go again, baby. Feeling good.
That's a wrap. 2 30-minute AMRAPs boxed. And I'll tell you what, I think I'm back, baby. That one felt real good. Real good. I'm gonna try and cut this background music out, but if the audio's a bit funny, I apologize, because I don't want to get myself a little copyright strike. But yeah, really good session. Listen, when I tell you about them liquid carbs, them intra-workout carbs, practicing the fueling strategy, trust me, try it out. You won't regret it. Halfway through the day, 3 tips down, 2 to go. Stay tuned. I've got a 20-minute spin out on the little bike here. Flush the legs out, cool down, little stretch, home, lunch. Stay tuned for tip number 4.
Okay, boom, lunch is up. And today, or the last few days definitely, we're talking a smoked salmon, fried egg, cream cheese, tomato, avocado, rocket, salad, sandwich, or bagel. The last few days it's been a bagel. Today it is a sourdough sandwich. And this leads me to tip number 4, which is to get your fuel on as quickly as possible. I haven't heeded my own advice here today. I was sipping on those carbohydrates in the form of that carbohydrate drink from Applied Nutrition, but ideally you want to get on protein and carbohydrates as quickly as possible. So the carbohydrates I've got from the bread. I've had another extra slice to top up my carbohydrates for the day. I've also got myself a little side salad to add some volume to this meal. But protein and carbohydrates as soon as possible, they are the foods that you want to eat first. I've got some avocado in here for some healthy fats. I've also got some olive oil and some eggs. But before I ate this, I ate a slice of bread and I also had that carbohydrate drink to get the carbs on. So this is probably not the best example to be eating post-exercise. But the fact that I don't have another session today means I'm a little bit more relaxed about it. If I was training again this evening, I'd be more stringent on the fats, cutting the fats back because they're only going to slow the digestive process and prevent the uptake of those carbohydrates and indeed that protein. But nevertheless, this is an absolute feast. I've been really enjoying this one. And as I approach race day, I'm really dialing in my nutrition and keeping things nutritionally consistent as opposed to nutritionally varied and, diverse. I'm a big advocate for nutritional diversity, nutritional variety from all sorts of different sources. But as you approach race day, you really want to start dialing in your strategy, familiarizing yourself with certain foods around training. My apologies, the dog is going mental. He thinks it's dinner time for him as well, but he's got absolutely no chance. You've got no chance, mate. Look. What do you want? Yeah, you better. You know you got no chance. Anyway, whilst you're there, it'd be rude not to get myself in a mess and give you all a taste test of this monstrosity of a sandwich that is falling apart in my hands. But here we go. Let's give it a little whirl. Oh. I'm loving this at the moment. I'm going to tuck into this and enjoy it. But that's tip number 4. Get in your carbs, get in your protein as soon as you can after training to ensure that you're ready to train the next day. A little statistic for you from a recent study last year is that if you fail to take on carbohydrates and protein within half an hour of your session finishing, you can delay or you can hinder your performance the following day by up to 30%. So there's the evidence for this tip number 4. Right, okay, apologies for the Barnet. There's nothing I can do about it. It's out of control. I'm post-workout, what do you do? But whilst I'm waiting for my bath to run, I'm going to get myself a quick 15 to 20 minute soak just to relax the muscles and prepare myself for tomorrow's Zone 2, easy session. I've also got a bit of supplementary protein. You know I love a chocolate protein sludge. This one here is from, of course, you already know, Applied Nutrition. Let's grab it here. The Critical Whey Protein Isolate. The reason I go for an isolate is just a little bit gentler on digestion. So I'm going to have that as well. That's an extra sort of 20 to 30 grams of protein. Extra carbs with 2 teaspoons of honey as well. It's just a nice little sweet treat after your lunch, whilst I wait for me bath to run. But I didn't want to leave anything out that I eat today. So there you go, a little chocolate protein sludge as well. Right, now here we go. A bit of afternoon work done and dinner is on the grill. We're talking chicken fillets for the family. We're also talking, let's see, air fry, sweet potato, spring onion, cucumber, got a salad on the go as well. Simple whole foods, you know how we do. I'll check back in with you when it's all thrown together. Pollo, patatas. Right, okay, and just like that, that is the end of another day and the end of another episode of the Chasing Hyrox Valencia series. I've just finished dinner with the family. As you would have seen there, I cooked up an absolute feast for everyone. Some chicken fillets done in paprika, sea salt, black pepper, threw in some shiitake mushrooms that needed to be used up, some spring onions, done all that with a chili, grilled that, got a nice char on it, left it to sit, done some sweet potatoes, honey roasted with some rosemary, olive oil, sea salt, black pepper, and then a little salad with some grapes in there, cherry tomatoes. What else did I throw in there? Some feta cheese, beetroots. It was banging. It was absolutely lovely. Some spring onions sprinkled on top. It went down a treat with everyone. So just a plate of whole foods, trying to, you know, cling on to summer with every last bit that we've got. I'm just settling down for the evening now with another bowl of chocolate protein sludge, just in case I didn't mention it earlier. It's simply a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons of Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder, hit of protein, something sweet to round off the meal. I always find it helps, and it's an extra boost of protein before I go to bed. It's currently 7:30, so eating a couple of hours before I go to bed to promote that digestion. I've got a little bit of work left to do for the day, but I'm going to round this video out here. And I'm going to round it out before I forget with my tip number 5, my final tip of the day, which is eat what you enjoy. Make the whole process fun. Okay? A bit of a soft one to finish, but I genuinely mean it. There's no way you're going to sustain your progress. Apologies if you can hear the dog barking. He's doing my absolute edit today. But yeah, eat what you enjoy. It makes the whole process a lot more sustainable for yourself. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it makes everything easier. So do exactly that. Love that meal I've just cooked there. I love myself a chocolate protein sludge, which I'm going to tuck into right now before I crack on with this work. But once more, that is the end of this video. I thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please consider hitting the like button, commenting, and subscribing. I really would appreciate it. And the reason you should is because I'm coming with 2 to 3 YouTube videos just like this. I've got some educational content releasing every week as well, so stay tuned for that. That is why you should hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more. But I'll see you all in the next one on the other side in a bit.